You're standing in a field 10,000 years ago. No tools, no fire, just dirt and rocks scattered around your bare feet. Someone tells you your mission is to build something that will fly above the earth, faster than anything alive, and stay up there forever, sending signals back down to the ground. You look up at the empty sky. You look down at the rock in your hand. You laugh, because nothing about this rock looks like it belongs anywhere near outer space. And yet, right now, somewhere above your head, more than 9,000 satellites are quietly circling the planet at 17,000 miles an hour, built from exactly this kind of rock. You just have a few thousand years of work ahead of you first. Step 1, and you already know this part: don't die. You can't build a satellite while starving to death in a field. So you do what every great human achievement required first. You find food, you find water, you learn fire, you sleep near it. Weeks pass, then months, and slowly you stop just surviving. You farm, you store food. For the first time, you have something nobody in your position has ever had: free time. And free time is the only reason a human being ever looks up at the stars and wonders what's actually up there, instead of just wondering what's for dinner. Now you can finally look at that rock properly. You build a furnace, not a campfire, something serious, packed with charcoal, air forced into the base, climbing past temperatures nature never produces on its own. The rock starts to bleed. Thick, glowing orange liquid pools at the bottom. That's iron, hiding inside the rock the entire time. You pour it, shape it, let it cool. The Stone Age is behind you. Refine that iron further, burn off the excess carbon, and you get steel. Stronger, lighter, capable of holding its shape under pressure. This steel will eventually become the bones of a launch tower and the frame of a rocket. But you're nowhere close to that yet. You don't even have electricity, and a satellite without electricity is just expensive space junk. So you keep going. You study static shocks, then sparks, then the strange relationship between electricity and magnetism, until one day you can generate electricity on demand and send it traveling through a wire. This single discovery, something you can flip on and off whenever you want, is the entire difference between a rock floating uselessly in space and a machine that can sense, think, and talk back to Earth. Now, for the part that should genuinely stop you in your tracks, remember that white sand you might have walked across on a beach somewhere? It's mostly silica, silicon, and oxygen, locked together. Heat that sand past 2,000 degrees Celsius with the right ingredients, and the oxygen rips away, leaving behind crude silicon. Purify that silicon to a level that sounds like a typo. 9 decimal places, 1 impurity for every billion atoms, and you can grow it into a flawless crystal, slice it thinner than a human hair, and turn it into a solar cell. The exact same sand-to-silicon journey you'd use to build a smartphone or a rooftop solar panel is what now sits folded against the side of your satellite, ready to unfold in orbit and drink in sunlight forever, charging the batteries that keep everything alive up there. But silicon and steel are still sitting in the dirt with you. To actually leave the ground, you need to solve a problem nobody before you ever had to think about. How do you push something fast enough that it doesn't fall back down? The answer is rocket propulsion, burning fuel in a controlled, directed explosion, forcing exhaust out one end so violently that the entire vehicle gets thrown in the opposite direction. To physically escape Earth's gravity, that thrust has to push your vehicle to roughly 17,500 miles per hour. Not fast. Absurdly fast. Fast enough that once you hit it, you're not falling back to Earth anymore. You're falling around it forever. That's the strange, beautiful trick that an orbit actually is. Your satellite's outer shell comes from aluminum, pulled out of a dull gray rock called bauxite, refined the same way you'd refine it for a car or an airplane. Except now, it has to survive something far harsher than a highway. Temperatures in orbit swing from over 250 degrees Fahrenheit in direct sunlight to nearly 250 degrees below zero in Earth's shadow, sometimes every 90 minutes. Most materials would crack under that kind of repeated violence. Aluminum, layered with the right coatings, can take it. Inside that aluminum shell sits a tiny onboard computer, the same sand to silicon transistor journey from your smartphone, except this version has to survive cosmic radiation that would scramble an ordinary chip within days. Copper wire, drawn impossibly thin from raw ore, carries every signal between the solar panels, the battery, the computer, and the antenna. And that antenna, shaped from more refined metal, is what finally closes the loop, sending information back down through empty space to a receiver dish somewhere on the surface of the very planet you started this journey on, standing barefoot in a field. You launch. The rocket roars, burns through its fuel in minutes, and falls away in stages, each one having done its job and become useless weight to discard. Your satellite, alone now, coasts the rest of the way into orbit. The solar panels unfold like wings. The antenna locks into position. It begins doing exactly what it was built for, silently circling the Earth, sending signals down to phones, ships, farms, and weather stations that have no idea just how far back its story actually goes. Here's the part worth sitting with. Every piece of that satellite, the steel frame, the silicon brain, the aluminum skin, the copper nerves, traces back to rocks and sand sitting in the dirt, completely unremarkable, doing absolutely nothing for the entire history of the planet until someone decided to ask what was hiding inside them. Nobody invented a satellite out of thin air. They just kept asking that same question, what's inside this rock, over and over again, for 10,000 years, until the answers stacked high enough to reach orbit. You started this video standing barefoot in a field, holding a dull, ordinary rock that looked like nothing. Somewhere above you right now, a piece of that same story is circling the Earth, looking back down at you.